Scenic Stroll, Exploring the New Forest from Buckler's Hard to Beaulieu, Part 2. Welcome back everyone, to Part 2 of our New Forest adventure. We're picking up right where we left off, halfway along the trail from Buckler's Hard to Beaulieu, and we're so glad you're with us again. Today, we're starting with a little twist, veering off the main path onto a half-circle detour that sweeps us closer to the Beaulieu River once more. After soaking in those open woods last time, it's a treat to see the water glinting through the trees again, its calm surface pulling us in like an old friend. This detour's a hidden gem, giving us a fresh angle on the forest's beauty, and a taste of what's still ahead. We've got more history, nature and surprises waiting as we make our way to Beaulieu, so settle in, and let's dive back into this journey together. As that gentle detour brings us back to the main track, we're feeling the New Forest wrap around us again, pulling us onward to Beaulieu. That little loop by the river was a perfect breather, and now we're right back in the heart of this ancient place. It's got us thinking about a book our daughter Abby's been lost in lately. Children of the New Forest by Frederick Marryat. If you've got young adventurers at home, this one's a gem worth picking up. Written in 1847, it's a classic tale set right here in these woods during the English Civil War. It follows 4 orphaned siblings, the Beverleys, hiding out after their homes burned down by Parliament's forces. They learn to survive off the land, hunting, farming, and dodging danger, all under the watchful eye of a kind forester. It's packed with grit and heart, showing how this forest can shape anyone brave enough to call it home. We love how it ties into where we're walking. Those same oaks and paths come alive in its pages. Our daughter's hooked, and we're betting it'd spark some curiosity in your crew too. So as we keep trekking toward Beaulieu, grab a copy if you can. It's a story that's as much a part of this place as the trees around us. Stick with us, because there's plenty more to see on this trail. And with that book in mind, we're still winding our way toward Beaulieu, the New Forest stretching out like an old friend around us. These woods have a pull, don't they? Each step feels like we're brushing shoulders with the past. Those Beverley kids from the story might be just beyond these trees, ducking through the undergrowth. This place wasn't just a tale for them, it was real back in the 1600s. During the Civil War, royalists darted through here, slipping past Parliament's grip, and later, Charles II saw these oaks as a navy lifeline, planting them thick to rebuild his fleet. Some of those giants loom over us now, their branches heavy with centuries. We're drinking it all in, the light flickering through the leaves, the stillness that settles around us. This trail's a treasure, every turn peeling back more of the forest's soul. We're not at Beaulieu yet, and that's fine. This walk's about the journey itself, and we've got more to share before it ends. If you're eager for Beaulieu, check our other video, linked at the end. For now, let's keep going. These woods have more whispers to offer, and we're cherishing every one. Here we are, still winding through the New Forest on this trail to Beaulieu, and it's got us curious about the path itself. How did it come to be? We've dug into the forest's big chapters before, but this track we're walking has its own tale, one we haven't quite told yet. Picture it back in the 1200s. Those monks we mentioned in part 1 were just settling in up at the Abbey. They weren't sitting still. They worked the Beaulieu River hard, building mills and ponds to grind grain and fish. That meant tracks, rough, muddy ones, snaking along the water's edge, linking their outpost to spots like where Buckler's Hard sits now. It wasn't a road, just a way to get around, carved out by need. Then, jump ahead to the 1700s, and this path started humming. Buckler's Hard wasn't the quiet start we saw, it was a shipbuilding hive. We've talked oaks and navy ships, but imagine workers trudging this route, hauling tools or guiding timber downriver. The Montague family, who'd owned this land since the Abbey shut down, leaned on it too, keeping their estate tied to that growing hamlet. It wasn't some grand highway, but it got wider, firmer, maybe even a bit gravelly from all those boots. By the time the ships faded out, say, early 1800s, the path didn't fade with them. Yachts and steamboats brought folks out for fun instead, wandering this riverside stretch to breathe it all in, much like we're doing now. And it's kept changing. Those gravel patches underfoot, that's years of care, turning an old workhorse into a proper trail. It's even hitched itself to the Solent Way, a bigger walk along the coast. We love how it feels alive, shaped by everyone who's passed through, monks, shipwrights, wanderers like us. It's not just a line to Beaulieu, it's a thread through time, and we're adding our steps to it. Plenty more to see as we go. Look over there. A couple of horses are grazing in a fenced field right off the path, their coats glinting in the light. They're a sight, aren't they? Unlike the ponies, which we didn't see today, this pair's got a home, penned in close to the trail. It's a little reminder of how this place balances the wild with the tended, the past with the now. Folks around here have kept horses for ages, working the land or just living alongside it, and these two feel like a nod to that quieter life. We're getting near the end of our walk to Beaulieu, and it's moments like this that make it special. Unexpected glimpses that tie us to the forest's heartbeat. here we are folks, rounding off our trail from Buckler's Hard to Beaulieu. This journey's been a weave of woods, river and little surprises, like those horses back there. And now, as we peek at Beaulieu, we spot Norris Gift Shop right at the end. It's a gem from 1876, packed with quirky finds, and guess what? They've got some of our 17 UK micro crochet jewellery on sale. Tiny treasures we've handcrafted with love. And if you're craving more Beaulieu, we've got another video for that, linked shortly. If this trek sparks something for you, hit that like, share it with friends, drop a comment. What's your favourite bit? Subscribe too, so you're ready for our next jaunt. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring.